Everybody, and hey, Lewis, hey everybody. Hi, welcome everybody to Tradesbook Radio, the Sunday show, the market analysis show for today, the 7th of March, 2021. Another Sunday, another market. Let's have a look and see what's going on. We are changing the format a little bit for this particular session. We're going to start trying to keep each person to sort of 3 to 5 minutes on their topic and to sort of be clear on what their topic is. I'll be starting off and talking about a couple of currencies. About 5 minutes from now, we'll have Ash come in and talk fundamentals for you guys. Alexis is away today, and after that, Ash will be 5 minutes on cotton seasonal data and that kind of stuff. Jordan's in just after that for 5, Sukri for 5 after that, about 40 past. 45 is Ainsley on gold and 50 is Ainsley on oil. Lloyd's in at 5-2, Jeff top of the hour, and that will wind us up. So it should be about a 40-minute show today. As we try and keep it pretty snappy, the plan in the midterm is to cut each section out and replay it a bit later in the day in Singapore when it suits the attendees a little more than perhaps this time right here does. Look, I'm going to grab a screen and I'm going to have a look at oil. Look, gosh, sometimes the Skype pictures get well in the way of this stuff. And I don't have the other one. Wait a sec. Going to have a look at XTI, even though I'm in. Yeah, look, as you guys know from previously, I bought this about just past the $60 mark, and then I came on to the show when Ash was away for the for Super Bowl, and spoke to his group about buying this around the $60 mark. Following this step up, and I talked then about the fact that I thought this was a time to buy breakouts and small retracements, and that's what the market is doing. I've sat in this. I sat through this little fake out last week as the oil producers got together and spoke, and I think it was always likely to bring a bit of a price up. But for mine, it's not a Brent thing we're looking for. Really, when we have a look at this, I'll just bring some more data on this. And look, you know, we're around these previous highs for the last couple of years, and looks to me like it's going to be a pretty important level, because really, what's really interesting about this for me is what sits above this, and what sits above this for me is not a lot for quite a long way. You know, probably our next level that we can see here on a weekly chart is somewhere around here, and 75.68. So if we get through this sort of level, 66.27, it's saying I think the level is actually 66. 66.56 is the actual level we're looking for this high here. And all of a sudden, there's quite a big gap to float into, and I'd expect we may see some consolidation around this level for a little while, because it is a really important level. But if we bust it and get perhaps a 4-hour daily close above, it does look to be a really good side to run. I'll be leaving my position on this, and if anything, looking to have a break of this level and a retest and add to my position here and push it back up there. Cable's another one that interests me today. And we gave this out. I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in the show, and people I spoke about that I was keen to sell cable. Everyone else was keen to buy cable. It's based on the COT information, which I have to talk about later on. And again, for mine, I remain reasonably comfortable to be looking to sell this. I might just, yeah, looks to be in a nice spot for mine on the 4-hourly chart. We've got a little bit more going on here on the 4-hourly chart. We've managed to get down through here, get to monthly pivot. A little bit of a false break. I got caught on this one. I lost a bit of money here. I tried to get short here, pop back up and retested weekly pivot. I'm always really careful between weekly pivot and monthly pivot. I don't really trade in that area there. But the nice break, beautiful retest, little test bar there, chance to get back in. Down to the 200-day moving average and still closing below the 200-day moving average. And look, I'll be looking for lows below the lowest Friday's bar to have another look at this if the COT data remains the same, which I expect that it will do. Look, that's my first 5 minutes up. All that I'm in apart from that is I'll remain a Bitcoin bull. I'm at about 28,000 on this, and really we'll be looking to on my HW account to continue to look for entries on this with stop loss, and perhaps outside the HW account, perhaps not with stop loss, just looking for buy and holds really on Bitcoin. I remain a bull for now, and look, Bitcoin has a lot of this, and look, there'll be a day when it's the wrong place to be long, but for now, I'm happy to sit in here and presume that the crypto rally has got a little while to go as yet. With no Lexi, Ash, you're the fundamentalist today. Here comes Ash Bull with 5 minutes on fundamentals. Buddy, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. How's everybody doing? Yeah, fundamentals really, really important actually at the minute, so that we continue to watch this stuff. Now, I am going to bring my screen in here. This was an important Friday, actually, important Friday and an important Thursday. Jerome Powell was a fascinating speech, really. Lewis, how you doing, buddy? Look, Jerome Powell was a fascinating speech on Thursday, and it was really focused on the US 10-year yield. That's what everybody was waiting with bated breath about. You know, would there be any yield control? And the fact that he didn't push back on the increase in the yield really sent the market into a lot of jitters. And we've actually seen the Nasdaq. We actually saw the Nasdaq on Thursday continue to push to the downside, as did gold and many of the other things that are heavily linked to the US 10-year yield. But we did see a buy the dip scenario actually on Friday. You know, as the Nasdaq pushed down, we did see a buy the dip scenario, and it was quite interesting because the next day, when we had all of the data that came out, the jobs data. Now, we've been waiting for this jobs data to pick up. Now, this was the first print for a long time of really positive jobs data. Now, the fundamentals in America are solid. You know, they've been really, really good. The services data, ISM services data, was a little bit bad. You know, it was a little bit negative, but, well, it wasn't negative, sorry. It was a little bit cool, a little bit lukewarm. But some of the manufacturing numbers have been stellar. And now we are hearing in the United States that they're going to be starting to open some of the theme parks as well in California. And it's just suggesting that the pandemic is whether it's under control or not, may still be in question to a degree, but they are certainly treating it like it is under control. The vaccine rollout has really helped things. It certainly helped things in the United Kingdom with the hospital admissions having a massive reduction, about 40% reduction. So that, coupled with the lockdown scenario and situation, it's really helped the pandemic kind of get under control. And while it is under this control, it means that that countries are opening up the airspace again and allowing holidaymakers to start traveling into their country. And it means that certain businesses will start to open up. We're going through a bit of a test, really starting on Monday. With the schools, you know, schools opening up, and we'll see what the data shows about whether the R rating starts to kind of pop up again, and whether we have got this thing under control. But right now, the mood music is that this is under control. And we're seeing the United States really starting to grow. And we're seeing and obviously that 10-year yield did pop to the upside. Now, it did level off a little bit at the highs. So what happens here on in, and the things that I'm looking at because of it, I am looking at gold. I think gold is a fascinating commodity right now. Oil is also really, really interesting. Now, Paul mentioned that OPEC, you know, they're playing ball right now. They are agreeing to limit supply, the supply chain in oil. Now, if the supply obviously is reduced and the demand looks like it could be picking up because we're starting to see economies open back up again, that suggests higher prices in oil. And I think just right across the board, we're just seeing this energy spike. You know, I think that energy will probably start to pick up. So oil, at this stage, even though it is at a pretty heavy level of resistance, doesn't really have any reason to start reversing the move to the upside. Now, it does mean that the move to the downside could be quite aggressive, because we know how these agreements go with OPEC and some of the members, where all of a sudden they can turn on a dime, and we need to be a little bit careful of that, and continue to watch, you know, and listen to what the oil companies and the oil governing bodies are doing. But oil at this stage, I would completely agree, suggests it's still going to the upside. Gold, I think, is really interesting. If we see, I've got a position in gold, but it might be a shade early, but you can see that down here, there is a trend line that it could be getting stuck to, and we got this this horizontal level here. It might still be a week or so early with gold, but gold does have a seasonal bias to start moving to the upside. And talking of seasonal bias and COT data as well, let's start bringing that in. The COT data on gold is quite bullish in the near term. But it's still a little bit tepid, really. We haven't really seen the buyers really start to come back into play. So we would need to see possibly another couple of weeks to be a bit more comfortable that gold is actually going to start an uptrend, because what we could get here is a bit of a dead cat bounce. And I'll probably play the move to the upside as a dead cat bounce initially. But I do think that we're probably going back up to at least around about the 1800 mark before possibly coming back and testing the lows, possibly just making a higher low, which is what I'll look out for. Can we make a higher low? Maybe take some profits, around about the 1800 mark, and then see if we get the higher low. Now we need to watch out for that bond yield. And if the bond yield kind of does its own thing, Jerome Powell doesn't sound like he's going to be stepping in. But if it does its own thing and manages to curb its move to the upside, so it was sticking at around about 150, 155 on Friday. If it eases down and it does have a support level at around about 140, if it eases down, the eyes are going to be on whether 140 holds and turns again. And if it does, then I suspect the NASDAQ and the gold market as well will probably come back to the downside again. So we got to watch that quite closely. But a decent bounce in the NASDAQ. I've been trying to trade the Russell, but a decent bounce in the NASDAQ towards the very, very end of the day on Friday. But it is still in a downtrend, and I think we need to be very, very careful of the NASDAQ. I think the NASDAQ might be another one that might just ease to the upside until we probably get a push down to that 140 level with a 10-year yield. If it starts to form some sort of bottom down there, I think the NASDAQ could turn again. So I'm not really too bullish on the NASDAQ, but I like the growth I like the value play in the United States. So Russell 2000 seems to be quite interesting for me there. When it comes down to the COT and the seasonals for the dollar, that's pretty good actually for the next period. So certainly for this week, it looks to me like the dollar might be starting to pick up some pace. Now, I was thinking that the Swissy could be quite an interesting play against the dollar, and we did see the dollar probably perform best against the Swissy against some of the other major currencies. And look where it is right now. It may well have broken through, but we can just see this resistance area. I wonder whether a little inverted head and shoulders might be in play. Might be good to see here. Now, I think the Swissy might have a very close correlation here with gold. Now, the reason that Switzerland does have a close correlation with gold, it's not because they own more gold than everybody else, but they do have more gold per capita than any other country in the world. And if we are starting to see gold have a dead cat bounce, and that US 10-year bond yield just start to ease to the downside, that would suggest a little bit of strength could come into the Swissy. And that might mean that just a bit of easing to the downside with the dollar, but it might end up actually playing, beautifully into a potential carving out of a reversal pattern. And then it's going to be, the question about whether we get that reversal pattern and we play it. So what I'm looking for is it to come down here, maybe give us that inverted head and shoulders, and then possibly, if the bond yield starts to strengthen again, we trade the dollar up against the Swissy. If it weakens, then we would trade it to the downside against the Swissy. So I think they're the ones to watch out for over the course of this week. Dollar Swiss, watch a bit of gold, and watch the NASDAQ.
Cheers, Ash. Thank you very much for that concise as ever, mate. It's much appreciated for your session. Thank you very much for covering for Alexis today, who's away and can't do the fundamentals. Really do appreciate it. Next up is our macro man, Julian. What's happening in the macro world, Julian, the big picture stuff? What's likely to move this market this week?
Hi, Paul. Hello, everybody. Hope we're all doing well. Sorry, I'm a bit black there, aren't I? So I apologise for the slightly weird facial appearance tonight. Yeah, look, I sort of found myself nodding yet again to everything that Ash is saying. I sort of get most of it. I think. Quick comment here about Swiss. I don't really like to comment on what has happened. It's actually what I need. Sorry, I need perfect. Well, actually is what's going to happen. But I will quickly comment on this. It's very interesting that about the same time the Swiss were labelled as currency manipulators by the U.S. Treasury was about the same time that the Swiss franc began to fall, and they were labelled as currency manipulators because they were trying to defend their currency from strengthening too much. So. Irony of it all not lost on me. Funnily enough, it just goes to show a very classic late sentiment cycle move by the US government this time, who got it completely wrong at the absolute top. So really, when you look at the Swiss franc, it's unfolding as we've been, you've heard me talking about this US dollar move now. Probably people in my broadcast group are very, very disappointed that I keep talking about this. I'm going to carry on talking about it. Same in my trading group as well too. It's unfolding. I don't know how much move. I sort of get where Ash is coming from. I don't know how much move there is in the Swissy. Clearly, the ones which haven't moved are dollar CAD, but really right now, I think the plays are in the dollar yen and the Sing, which has showed quite a lot of strength, and there's still, by the look of things on the charts, a little bit more room to go. I don't know how much more room we have in this Swissy to go. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. As far as gold's concerned, yes, I've noticed Ash as well too. Somewhere between 1,700 and 1,600 was always a number that worked, and great to have that trend line up there. Much as I love that trend line, I also love Fibonacci's as well too. And somewhere between the 382 and the 50% retrace, I'm sure Ainsley will point out where those are. We're sort of hitting that zone around now. And therefore it becomes interesting. There is a confluence there, if you wish to have it, between a trend line and also potentially a Fibonacci move as well too. So I have no idea where gold is going to bottom. What I do know is we're getting into interesting territory, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think there's an opportunity. I also, just seeing Ainsley's post on terms of the seasonality, really think that the tail end of March is going to be more interesting for gold than next week. But from next week, I think it's all bets are off. There could be a change of regime for gold. So I don't know about you hearing it here first between Ash and myself. Maybe Ainsley will back us up, but I'm certainly not bearish on gold anymore. If some of the other assets in the world continue to hold their gains as best they can. As far as the US stocks are concerned, Ash is way, way better at that than I am. I wouldn't want to make a call. I'll just say there still seems to be quite a high correlation between what's happening in the NASDAQ and what's happening in some of the currency pairs as well too, like the Aussie and the Kiwi. And they've been struggling as the NASDAQ has struggled a little bit. So who knows what's why there's a correlation there, but I suspect it's part of all our general correlation of one when it comes to asset prices generally. So I am still fairly positive on these COMDOL currencies, the commodity dollar currencies, but clearly they've come a hell of a long way. That big figure reversal we saw last week is thing, and I think still sort of pretty much gives us the opportunity to look for more buys at support. We've got a support level coming up in the Aussie. It's about a big figure away, I think, from roughly where we are now. Big figure in a bit. I'm sure the Kiwi has a similar level. Just look at these support levels, right? This is, trends don't turn around in a V-shaped fashion. Just let's hope at this point that we get a bit more of a either an opportunity to sell it or an opportunity to buy it if it goes down to those support levels. So that's pretty much, I think it's going to be a bit of a crazy week next week, Paul. And hence the reason why I'm slightly conflicted about a couple of things. I think I'm going to trade it as I see it.
Yeah, man, I think there's we might shake out a little bit this week and things might get a little bit clearer. Thank you very much for that, Julian. We'll have a bit of a chat about the format. It does move us along pretty quickly. We'll see if we've got enough time. We'll have more of a chat about that in the background. I do like the 5-minute thing. I think it keeps it running along pretty nicely. Look, our next guest is Shukri. And Shukri, I think you've got a problem with your phone. Shukri, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think there's a mistake, mate. You texted me on the weekend and you said that your flow you paid $1,000 for, and it's now worth $360,000.
It
You meant
is.
$36,000, right? It was a zero missing or something, right?
Yeah, it was like 360. Well, now it's 320 because they gave us a dividend.
Yeah.
They give us a dividend. They give us dividends every month because I'm a farmer now.
Yep. Yeah.
When you have all this up like
Tell you
that,
what,
everything,
spend $1,000, get 360,000, makes it. Most farmers would take that, I think, Shukri.
yeah.
So seriously, you bought a coin in October for $1,000, and it's now worth 320,000, and you've got a dividend on top of that.
Yes, 320,000. And when you have those kind of numbers, and you just take it, you just leave it on a farm, and suddenly your mail comes in the middle of that. Oh, there's money dropping in. Okay, thank you very much.
Mate, did a big course game for us yesterday. Another packed up course. Got one more next Sunday before we run on to your sort of graduate program. Let's hear from you, mate. What's happening with crypto this week?
Okay, big news, guys. Big news. God bless America. I have to learn the anthem. I have to learn the national anthem.
That's pretty much it, mate.
The stimulus is past 1.9 trillion. Guys, what did we see when $600 was passed? Let me remind you, that's when Polkadot went crazy, right? So I expect cryptos will go crazy also, but I need to I need to be in the show tomorrow, Gordon's show, because the checks are arriving on the 14th. So when are they going to get the money? I don't know. Is it direct to the bank? Are they going to start spending on 15th? That is the key now, but they are going to start buying stuff, okay? So this is great news. What do I see now? Oh, Ash talked about an inverse head and shoulder. What do I see? Oh my God, I see something on Ethereum now. So there is an inverse head and shoulder. If you measure this here, there's this line here. It should bring us back to the old highs, just above 2,000. Now, I bought 16 Ethereum, not because I'm an Ethereum fan. I don't like Ethereum. It's too expensive, but because I'm cashing out. So it's good for me because when I cash out in Malaysia, I cannot bring USDT or USDC. I have to do it in Ethereum. So I brought a bunch of Ethereum, 16 to be exact. I'm going to buy more and use this to ride it to basically cash out. The other way of cashing out is through Bitcoin. And what is happening to Bitcoin now? I feel that we have to go over 52K here. This bar here. We need a daily close above this. Then it's above 56. If it goes above 58, I think we've discussed it last week, right? 100. But I think knowing Bitcoin, we need more tries. The last one that I see, we discussed it yesterday. The one that's going to have the airdrop, my buy has not been hit. I did it. This is XEM, okay? Again, if you buy this on Binance, which is like the easiest thing to do in the world, if you hold it until 8:51 a.m. on Friday, 8:51, okay? Because they're going to snapshot your wallet at 8:50, you will get another crypto called XYM, symbol 141. I am still waiting at 69. Again, I already have 7,000 worth of positions here. I'm not good in mathematics. I'm just buying enough so that I have 10,000 later, So I don't know what the ratio is, but it's like a dividend, right? So what will happen after that? As usual, guys, at 8:50 a.m., 2 seconds, probably this is going to go up here. By then, it's going to dump. But we just wait and you should be able to get out and break even. Then you just collect your dividend on XYM. It is that simple. That's the plan. And since this is coming with a crypto bull, which I see because of this stimulus check thing, I don't know when they get it, things look good, okay? At least for now, at least for the coming week or so. Weeks. That's what we have. So, just position yourself for all of this, okay? Again, it's just the stimulus thing. I don't know what the prognosis on the dollar is, but yeah, this was just approved this weekend.
Cheers, Shukri. Thank you very much for that. Looks like quite a nice opportunity to sneak in there and get extra coins given to you. Gosh, you seem to be good at. That does appear to be your skill, is getting the extra stuff given to you because you have this, and they take the snapshot of your account and give you more, right?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know why my bank doesn't do that. Why doesn't my bank do that? Why doesn't my bank take a snapshot of my account and give me more money sometimes? How come crypto can do it, my bank can't do it?
Next year when they go into crypto.
Possibly.
And hopefully some of our students, can you guys be the chief crypto officer of a bank? Of all
They'll probably be someone, mate. They won't be able to tell us anything. They're not allowed to. You know what it's like in those banks. They're pretty serious folk, those bank folk. Thanks for that, Shukri. Thanks for the crypto cross. Much appreciated. Next up, we have Ainsley. Welcome from Sydney, Ainsley. Talking gold for the first 5 minutes and oil for the next 5 minutes.
No, I'm going to make it difficult. I'm going to start with oil.
Okay, you can do oil for the first 5 minutes and then gold for the next 5 minutes.
For the next 5 minutes, yes. I'm going with oil because I'm just going to touch on really quickly. Last week we were up here and we were talking about looking for a pullback with oil, and that was on the back of the news that the Saudis were talking about perhaps lifting their restriction. That was the self-imposed quota restrictions, and fortunately common sense has prevailed, and they announced, as you can see, there was a bit of a takeoff. It was a surprise announcement to the market that they have decided to all keep their quotas for another month. Hooray! And what that has done, combining that with, as Ash touched on previously, the whole idea of it looks like it's a good thing. We're coming out of COVID, and the pandemic looks like it's coming out under control with all the vaccinations, and it was I think it was John Hopkins or the Centre for Prevention, Disease and Control was saying that 6 out of 10 Americans think it is now under control. So that it's rolled out well. Going forward, people are starting to get a little bit more positive. So what we're seeing here, combined with the OPEC plus countries saying, okay, we're gonna keep back, we're not going to lift those restrictions, we saw this move, which was really nice to see. So hello, we're back up at 66 and Brent is heading towards 70. Now this has hit bang straight on the daily. As you can see on this one here, we've run straight into R1. I would imagine we might see a bit of a pullback before we can see a continuation, because at the moment it's picking up momentum and it's on its way, so it's looking good. So that's oil for the time being, and no other surprise announcements. We were looking for, if they worked, I would imagine if we had seen last week, we saw all this nonsense here towards the end of the week, if there was a continuation of the lifting of the restrictions, I think we would have seen it come back down here. But lo and behold, there was just this mishmash hanging around the pivot there for a while, and bang, off it went. So that's oil. So for the outlook, oil, I'm expecting it to continue on an upward trend. However, for the beginning of the week, I'm going to be looking for a small pullback. If you can get in there, then that would be good. Gold. Oh my Lord. Now, Shukri's just mentioned it as well. That stimulus package was passed by the Senate, 50 votes to 49. Not one Republican voted for it, but it went through. It's back to the House for approval and off to the president's desk for signature. Right. So what does that mean? It's a lot. Apart from looking at the technicals that Ash has just gone through with gold, and we've got a trend line and we've got a few other bits and pieces, this downward trend, or downward drift, I think we could call it, it's just a downward drift. It comes up, it goes down, it goes up, it comes down. There's been a lot of a holding pattern. There was a push up with the non-farm payrolls, which doesn't make sense. And then we've got this whole stimulus package that's gone through that we've been talking about, that we thought that gold would be an anti-inflationary hedge. Is it going to happen? Though you're talking about a lot of money going back out, and I think Shukri is pretty keen for a lot of those checks to be banked right into crypto coin rather than into the market. Whether this is going to continue to drift down further, because one of the things they've talked about is the inflationary hedge that we've been looking forward to see a bounce and a return around the 1700 mark back up. Has it already been priced in? Don't know. It's really hard to pick. And as Julian said, which way it's going to go. You've got confluence. You've got the Fibonacci retracement levels. It's hitting that 50%. It's around the 1700, which is a round mark, and it's really confused. It's not complying with anything that it has meant to be doing for the last couple of weeks. So at the moment, gold for me is a hold, and let's just see how the fundamentals play out and move it in which direction we need to go. That's me, Paul.
Thank you for that, Ainsley. Nice to be running a little bit early now. I will just check in and see whether Lloyd is ready. Lloyd, are you ready, buddy?
Yep, I'm here. So let me get my screen.
Cheers, mate. So next up is Lloyd doing relative currency strength. Off you go, buddy, with you.
All right, thank you, Paul. All right, so my analysis from last week actually didn't change a lot. The only surprising pair that caught me was actually Swiss. Looking at the dollar index last week, I did mention that our price will actually retrace back to the previous support level and did. So I think this coming will be a week of reckoning for me, whether dollar will continue strengthening or it will actually continue on its dominant trend, which is downtrend. Yeah, so keep a look out for US currencies. Yeah, don't be in a hurry to actually buy or sell it. Yeah. Actually, I think for my opinion is that I will let Monday pass, then I will determine whether I will go long or short. Yeah, but certainly this is a very tempting pair to trade at the moment. So for the Canadian index, did mention that price will actually get rejected by 80. Actually, for the past week, is that price didn't actually go anywhere soon. Yeah, so this actually to me is an inside bar. Yeah, so I will still need to wait for this coming week to see what CAD is going to do. Aussie bearish bar. So no, my opinion doesn't change in that. It's probably still going to fall. Yen fell by a lot. Hope some of you can get some good tips on that. Kiwi did fall a bit, not by a lot, but keep a lookout when price reaches 70, which is not too far away. I suspect that there might be some consolidation around here. Euro fell by quite a fair bit. No reason to think that price will actually retrace. This will actually present us some really interesting trading opportunities. Pound really get rejected by 140. I'll still be cautious about this, yeah, because not that it has a huge fat bearish bar, but I'm still placing my bets that pound will continue to be falling up to 134. Now, Swiss is the one that I was cautioning last week that it might bounce or it might break. Now, in the end, it did break the 110. I already removed that level. Yeah. So now price has already, it actually closed below the previous resistance level. Yeah. So as of now, Swiss, I'm going to be pretty bearish about it. In fact, for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you can see that its bearishness is being quite, it's quite apparent for all to see. Yeah. So for the upcoming week ahead, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be keeping a lookout for dollar Swiss. Yep, trading according to my analysis, the strongest to the weakest. Now, but I also did mention that for dollar Swiss, especially for dollar, I'll be passing Monday. Yeah, I won't be trading on Monday, so I want to see what's the market reaction to that. But this is the plan for me. Either price break the consolidation, then I'll just go long immediately on Tuesday morning, or it might just retrace back a bit, and then I'll go for long. Yeah, so this is the usual game plan. Either wait for retracement, or there might be a breakout. Euro CAD. This is a wrong color arrow that I'm placing. So against price, I'm just possibly waiting for price to retrace to 1.52, thereabouts, and then for me to go on a short position. Yeah. So these are the two charts that I'll be keenly watching out for in the upcoming week ahead. So with that, I'm done. Paul.
Cheers, Lloyd. Thank you very much, guys. We've done pretty well on time, haven't we, guys? This 5 minute slot, things got us rocking and rolling along a little bit. We are due to go to Jeff in 6 minutes, but I reckon Jeff will be ready to go. Jeff, you ready to go? Jeff?
Oh, sorry, mate. The microphone wasn't working because it was muted. Mate, I was born ready. You know that. Yeah,
mate, indeed I do, mate. It's technical trading time with Jeff. Over to you, mate. Let's have a look at some charts and see what you can see in them, mate.
Cheers, mate. Would you like me to fill the 7 minutes, or would you like me to fill the 5? We'll go.
Mate, let's go for 7 minutes from now. Let's finish top of the hour around there. Anywhere around there's good enough for me on this. It's been really interested to get some feedback on the team on the Snappy show. I certainly quite like moving it along. So we'll see what they say, but anywhere around the top of the hour would be good. Thanks, Jeff.
What was it? This little German lady, not so long back, was Snappy, Snappy, Snappy. What was that called? I didn't think
No,
you
I'm
wanted
lost.
Okay, let's go and have a look at this chart here, which is the Euro index, I believe. I've very seldom looked at these, but this is very, very interesting to me, and I'm pretty keen on a Euro long this week. And I'm surprised to say that, I've got to say, but that's the way it is. And what I see here is phase one of, is it a recovery? Is it a reversal? I'm not sure. Then a consolidation, phase two of exactly the same move. And now we've gone into consolidation. I'm looking potentially for a phase three. Now, this is against the basket of currencies, of course, not necessarily any one. But that's precisely what I see, and I'm looking for euro strength in the next little bit, whether it's this week or whether it's tomorrow. I really don't have any great clue, but interesting to me is that we've come back above this level and we've retested it a couple of times, and this being the let's say third time that level has been retested. Yeah, I think if price comes back to here, I've got an expectation that it might move up to this level here, up to this trend line, or maybe even a little bit further. So I'm a little bit of a Euro bull for the week. And let's see if we can turn that into some cash. And the first one I'm looking at is Euro Aussie. Interesting to me, technically, that we have been in an ascending channel, let's call it. And we've now come to the bottom of that channel and rejected that out of hand. I'm on a monthly chart, mind you, last month. Now we've snuck in a little, go back to a smaller time frame. Last week we got a very, very bullish bar off that, off the bottom of that channel, but also at a very, very strong horizontal level around about the 153.85 mark. Then we've had a little inside bar that is very, very interesting to me always. If I see a big bull bar like that, it's a bit bullish engulfing bar. It's also a key reversal bar off a confluence area. So I've got to pay attention to that. And the fact that last week's bar didn't, well, let's say, make a dent in that, frankly, in my opinion anyway. And interestingly, again, we bounced off the bottom of that and the week closed a little bit on the, I won't say bullish side, but certainly came off the lows. I'd be inclined to think that we are entitled to trade this long above that bar. Now, there might be a far better entry than that, to be frank, but currently, you know, on the daily chart, that doesn't look obvious to me. The candles are very, very indecisive, and last week the weekly pivot was really ruling things on this particular cross Euro Aussie. And I've been a bear this for 100 years. Well, you know, a few weeks anyway. Let's say the entire year. I think I've now changed polarity on that, given the technicals that I've just shown you, and that big bullish engulfing bar, big follow through. Now we've had a little bit of a, let's say, retracement on that. I think we're entitled to think this can go long and probably above that level. I think that's worthy of your attention, and certainly my attention it will be. Pound Aussie, let's go there. Not dissimilar in structure in that we do have an ascending channel, except that has been broken to the downside. We've since gone into consolidation. Look, I see this level here as a very, very strong potential in the next couple of weeks, maybe even couple of months. That again is a monthly chart. The weekly chart suggesting to me, again, we do have a key reversal bar and it's followed by an inside bar. That's always going to be worthy of my attention. And I see this going long, not least to this level, 184-ish, perhaps back to here, back up to 189. Wow, that's a big call, I know. But if it does break that level, the top of this range, then I think we're on the way here. So I'm a bull pound Aussie, and that will be the case until proven otherwise. We do have a very clear support level here and a clear higher low. So I think I'm very, very keen on that coming this week. Euro Kiwi is another one. Euro Kiwi, of course, the euro, we had a look at that chart first up, the euro strength potential. I'm not saying it's there, but there's certainly potential here. This is a strong support level that we're at. Big rejection bar there last month, and we haven't done too much since. Weekly charts indicating to me, guess what? A key reversal bar. And I won't call this an inside bar because it's not, but that's a very, very strong signal off this base. We've had 1 phase, 2 phase, 3 phases down here. I think this is entitled to at least retrace, maybe to a substantial level. And I'll be looking to trade this long throughout the week as well. Already, we've got a nice little slingshot set up there on the daily charts. I'd be inclined to look at that level on Monday. We won't jump into anything, but because there may well be, of course, a gap in the market, and we not like to avoid those. Last one I'm looking at, again, Euro-centric and Euro strength, but I've got to say this. I don't want to buy the euro pound. Sorry, that was one of last week's orders that didn't trigger. I'm looking for this to come back to this bottom of this range and confluence area with the bottom of this ascending channel. And I think that would be a very, very nice level to play this long, frankly, unless, of course, it breaks. So eyes open here. I'm not looking to trade long yet, but I am looking for the bottom of this range around about the 184 mark, let's call it that. And if I were to see that and we got a bounce and a higher low, then I think that would be the way to go. Can we trade it short in the meantime is the big question. I see no reason why we can't do that on smaller time frames. We've had a couple of phases down here. Let's call it 1, 2, 3. There may be one left. I'm not 100% on that. Big rejection bar there on the daily bar a week and a half ago. And this may well be the higher low. Yes, we may think about going long here, but really, I'm thinking down here first, then long. So I'm looking for maybe the 84 mark and then look to trade this long. That's euro pound. So, mate, I think you and I many, many moons ago were on polar opposites of the euro. I was always a bull. You were always a bear.
Well, it's good fun, wasn't it? We had a couple of years of that, didn't we?
We did. I think
I remember 3 or 4 days when you were right too.
No, it couldn't be, could it? I think I'm there again.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a euro bull.
Oh, fair enough, mate. It's look, I guess we'll have to see impact of that US stimulus packet on the US dollar. It'll have a bit of bearing on everything else now. And look, you can just feel those crypto traders and sort of commodity traders just waiting for that money to pop into those people's hands. The stock traders as well. The stocks will go up. Those people grab that extra, and some of those people will use that money for what to pay bills because
to feed their family, etc.
Got some money. We'll get it into different kinds of markets, and we should see some interesting stuff on markets. Means we might see a little bit earlier than the suggested seasonal run in April for crypto. We might see a bit of a run a little bit before that. We should always remember that the US consumer does drive markets all around the world. They do like to spend a dollar or two along the way. Mate, thanks for that. What do you think of the new show?
I think it's punchy. I think it's relevant, and it's probably eliminates some stuff that doesn't need to be said, maybe. So I'm a fan.
Oh, cool, mate. I'm just always a bit concerned about asking guys to come in for 5 minutes on their weekend to do something like this. It does keep it pretty short, but I'm a bit of a fan of it too, Jeff. I think keeping it moving along is kind of cool. And as I said, in the future, we'll be cutting these pieces out and putting them out as individual shows. So you can watch, if you want to come in later on, just watch Jeff's piece. You've got just Jeff's piece. We'll post it around, for instance, 8 o'clock, maybe ANZ 7:45, Sukri at 8:15. So later in the evening for guys who can't do the afternoon, they can come and have a look at the individuals. That is the plan. We're just looking to find someone to cut it up on a Sunday afternoon for us. I'm sure we'll have no trouble doing that eventually. Okay.
Don't mention cricket either,
mate. Or netball. It'd be a great trivia question, wouldn't it? How long is it since New Zealand's won a cricket and a netball series against Australia on the same day?
There's a good trivia question. I'll remember the last one. That'll be today.
I think I know the answer too, Jeff. The answer before that might be. I doubt we've won them both on the same day ever before. Good day in New Zealand. To be fair, mate, a couple of good series too. It's not like we whitewashed them in either of them, mate. They were some pretty good battles in both games, right?
True story. Absolutely.
When you did leave your entire top team back in Australia, we should be able to sneak one over your B side, right?
Oh, look, I don't think that's fair, to be honest. You take your best side, don't you?
No, mate, because your best side's supposed to be in South Africa playing Test cricket. So they didn't pick him. They picked him for South Africa, sent the rest of the guys over here, and then cancelled the South African tour. So no Warner, no Smith, no Cummings, no Stark, no Hazelwood. Who might have been in your best 2020 side?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the 2020 side. I think that's the best 2020 side.
Oh, I think Smith and want to make that, mate. Still, boy, it'd be a big play to leave those guys out of there. Yeah, interesting side. We don't get too far into cricket. I was a bit surprised at Mitchell Marsh batting 7 in the Australian side of any ilk. He's a good bat. Anyway, thank you guys very much for the session today, team. Do post some feedback to me. Let me know what you think of it. I am interested. At the end of the day, my number one thing we need is for you guys to be prepared to spend the time. And if 5 minutes doesn't feel like good value, we can have a look at it. But otherwise, we'll be back next week on this format. It's going to be later next week because Shukri has a Sunday course. We're going to be starting at 6 p.m. Sing, 11 p.m. New Zealand. So we're going to be running about an hour and a half later starting that while we let Shukri wrap up his last. Cheers, sweet. Nice. Shukri's going to do his last of these free programs he's doing on how to set up a crypto wallet and have other people fund it. Quite remarkable, these crypto guys, and how much money they give away. Astounding, if you ask me. So he'll be doing that next Sunday. After that, we'll be running the show. We need to have his course on this Zoom because it's the one that can take more than 100 people at a time in a show, and that could well happen for him. Righto, guys, to the team, thank you very much. No, like it, guys. Feedback seems to be pretty good. Look, guys, if you don't like it, let us know as well. At the end of the day, this is about making sure everybody's happy. Cheers, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. Have a good day. Take care. And the team will be back during the week with a variety of shots. Gordon Scott's in tomorrow night with another well-known guest. We'll have him and Ash and Jeff are back next week as well, Monday to Thursday. We're all in. There's a lot going on. I haven't spoken to him yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have Shukri on Thursday on my show. And the topic is simply going to be how to turn $1,000 into $320,000 in 5 months. Because honestly, I don't know why you even bother answering the phone anymore, Shukri. Honestly, if Jeff or I made $320,000 off $1,000 in 5 months, we'd be rolling around the gutters somewhere celebrating still. We'd still be out, wouldn't we, Jeff?
No question.
And in dividends every month. You got to love this crypto stuff. If you can find the right stuff, it's an amazing place to be. Cheers, everyone. Have a wonderful Sunday. See you later.